they're falling like left and right, one after another. These libs, another one that's about to go, Governor Kathy Hochul. Governor Kathy Hochul, who's decided that she's going to take taxpayer dollars, 50 million of them actually, to fight the legal battles for migrants so that they don't get, say, deported after they've perhaps been here illegally and then committed a crime and their country doesn't want to take them back. Kathy's going to be there, running to their rescue.
That are walking out of this courthouse, taken away from their families. They don't have the attention. They don't have the lawyers. And that's why the state of New York is providing $50 million to cover legal services for people who are finding themselves in this situation.
It's amazing. Okay? Like, it's totally amazing. Well, you know who's not going to stand for this? Elise Stefanik. I told you recently I thought she'd make a good governor of New York, right? It's official. She's going to be declaring her candidacy now. We have just learned that today. And she's going to, I suspect, take down one Kathy Hochul because as I told you, the only thing she's maybe got going for her is New York City. The rest of the place, no. And you know what? A lot of those people, they can't vote, right? Like she went into Little Haiti the other day and talked about how awful it was and how scared people were. And it's because, once again, the Supreme Court had to step in. And the Supreme Court made the decision that people who have come here from a country like Haiti, as well as Nicaragua, Cuba, and Venezuela, all four of those countries, 532,000 of them were brought in during the Biden administration. They are now being told that their visas will not be renewed and that they must go home. So Kathy had this to say about it.
Do you want to know what I really think?
Please.
It's bull. How dare they take an elected official who's been going down there for weeks to escort people who are afraid to walk into a courthouse in the United States of America. So Brad Lander has stepped up to be a guiding help for them. And this is what happens to him. What the hell is happening to this country? I just left Little Haiti. People are being traumatized. Small businesses, people walking down the street. When I was there in August, the streets were mobbed. People were walking down the sidewalks. There were vendors everywhere. The traffic was crowded. Today, there was silence. People are living in fear. One woman just told me the ICE agents are going in and out of buildings there.
So, as you can imagine, Elise has a very good comeback for this. She actually was questioning in a recent hearing Kathy Hochul on some of her sanctuary policies, and it was really heated, like really, really, really heated. And she was very graphic in terms of some of the horrible things, Elise was, that have happened as a result of having people that you don't know are criminals in your country and in your state. And so Elise is really taking this on. Kathy didn't even know who these people were, what their names were. I mean, it was actually really atrocious. And it was really, I'll tell you, Elise is good. She's really, she trained as a lawyer. She went to Harvard Law School. She understands the law a whole lot better than any of these people do. And now she is running to take Kathy's spot. Listen to her recently speaking on Fox.
Ranking New York Republican who has really led the charge in holding New York elected Democrats accountable for their failures. Whether it's the economic crisis in New York, the highest tax state in the nation, the most unfriendly to small businesses, you're seeing a mass exodus of people who have been run out of the state because of Kathy Hochul's failed policies. On top of that, you're seeing a criminals first, an illegals first agenda fueled by Kathy Hochul, whether it's our failed bail reform or whether it's sanctuary cities. We need a governor that supports law enforcement, that supports rule of law, and frankly, common sense. And then, of course, you see a corruption crisis in New York State, whether it's New York Democrat governor after governor or Tish James, and she is rightfully being prosecuted by the Department of Justice for her alleged mortgage fraud. So it is ripe for new leadership in New York. I'm overwhelmed by the positive support, but we're taking a strong look at it. More to come.
Wow. And so, again, we have learned today that indeed, Elise Stefanik is going to be filing to run against Kathy Hochul as the governor of New York. Kathy Hochul saying, what's going on in this country? I mean, I have the same question. What's going on? When you have this guy, Padilla, that nobody had heard of, showing up unannounced at Kristi Noem Secretary of the DHS, Department of Homeland Security's press conference and tries to rush the stage. Yeah, what's going on?
I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the Secretary, because the fact of the matter is a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your heads off.
How many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty?
Wow. I mean, that was quite a moment, right? Kristi Noem at that particular event said something really important. And again, it gets back to this idea of law and order. And I want to we played it back then, but I want you to hear it again in light of everything that's happening right now, because this should not be controversial. Not at all. Here's Kristi Noem, Department of Homeland Security Secretary.
My only question to you, I'd say a question back to you is, which laws in the United States should be enforced and which ones shouldn't? I mean, my job, here's the deal, guys. My job is not to pick and choose which laws we enforce and which ones we don't. We have laws in this country, and they matter. If you want the law changed, go to Congress. When's the last time you went to Capitol Hill and told your senator or representative to change it? That's what they need to do. This is the perfect time for Congress to make a decision on how they want people in this country to be able to have an opportunity to come here legally and to fix this. We, as law enforcement officers and as a national security department and agency, my job is to uphold the law, and that's what I will continue to do.
Like, how is that controversial? Really? I ask you, how is that controversial? You know what? It's not controversial. Don't kid yourself. It is not. Heck, Obama wanted it. I mean, he even said, he was asked in an interview with Telemundo, however many years ago, this may be 2012, actually maybe 2013, I'm guessing. I think we'll be able to see when I play the clip. But this is Obama saying, you know what, the law is the law, basically. He sounds a whole lot like Kristi Noem.
Last time we spoke, you said that you weren't king, you were president. There were only certain things you could do unilaterally. As time goes on, 1,000 deportations on average a day. People are wondering, and our Twitter feeds and Facebook feeds, that's the question everybody asks. Won't you at least consider unilaterally freezing deportations for the parents of deferred action kids?
Yeah. Here's the problem that I have, Jose, and I've said this consistently. My job in the executive branch is supposed to be to carry out the laws that are passed. Congress has said, here's the law when it comes to those who are undocumented, and they allocate a whole bunch of money for enforcement. And what I have been able to do is to make a legal argument that I think is absolutely right, which is that given the resources we have, we can't do everything that Congress has asked us to do. What we can do is then carve out the DREAM Act folks, saying young people who have basically grown up here are Americans that we should welcome. We're not going to have them operate under a cloud, under a shadow. But if we start broadening that, then essentially I would be ignoring the law in a way that I think would be very difficult to defend legally. So that's not an option. And I do get a little worried that advocates of immigration reform start losing heart and immediately thinking, well, somehow there's an out here. If Congress doesn't act, we'll just have the president sign something and that'll take care of it. We won't have to worry about it.
Amazing, right? They sound so similar. Don Baca, I'm telling you, you're going to have to get a job as a producer here on the Trish Regan show, correcting me. Elise Stefanik did not go to Harvard Law, and he is correct. That was my mistake. She's so good at cross-examining. I remember when she was cross-examining Claudine Gay, who was the president of Harvard, basically took her down, as well as the woman from MIT and the woman from UPenn. She was outstanding, as she was when she was cross-examining Kathy Hochul the other day. She should have been a lawyer, but you know what? I'm kind of glad she's not. I'm kind of glad she's not, because we've got enough lawyers in Washington, right? So, Don, you are correct. She went to Harvard undergrad, but actually wound up working in the Bush administration and was in sort of the policy departments and has a background in politics, not actually in law, very interestingly. So, but you hear those guys, right? You hear Obama, you hear from 2013. Oh, this was pre-Trump. You see, in other words, Trump stole their mantra. You go back to Hillary Clinton, you go back to Bill Clinton, you go back to any of the Democrats. It was actually Bush who seemed like he was pro-immigration, right? That used to be a Republican platform because, hey, you needed cheap labor. What was the woman on The View recently saying? You know, who else is going to clean this and that? Remember when she said that? And it was kind of a disparaging thing to say, but that was sort of the attitude, or is the attitude, I guess, now. But it used to be believed that that was the attitude of the GOP. And so he's flipped that on its head. And they're sitting there and they're just welcoming people in. I guess because they really want to embrace socialism and let them eat cake. Unbelievable. You know who's one of them? LaMonica MacGyver. Oh, she's out pleading her case all over cable because she has literally no money to be able to fight her legal bills. So she's looking for handouts wherever she can get it. We are so proud to be in the top 100 here on the Trish Regan Show. Gosh, you guys, we made it to 62, I think, last week. They come out with a list on Wednesdays. No pressure or anything. This week could be a little bit harder. Full disclosure. So do your part. Get the word out. We got to get to LaMonica because she is making the rounds on cable and she's trying to defend herself. And we're like, defend yourself? I mean, hey, there's videotape, for goodness sakes.
Trump country is booming. We're building, hiring, and winning in America because energy tax credits put America first, bringing manufacturing jobs home and creating a stronger middle class.
Jobs and factories will come roaring back into our country. More production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers.
And America's comeback depends on American energy. President Trump, keep what works. Don't repeal energy tax credits. Paid for by Built for America.